Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Martin Zubimendi is doing his first part of the Arsenal medicals, and his shirt number has been exclusively revealed by Charles Watts. The announcement is expected to happen next week. Arsenal have also signaled to Real Madrid that we shall pay £77 million for Rodrigo if a deal is going to happen. We have also offered a contract to Gerrard, 6 years, and talks are ongoing with the management of the player. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel as well. Lots of stories to dive into. Benjamin Sesko is still asking for that release clause in his contract, and talks between him and Arsenal are stalling. Will Benjamin Sesko be the next Arsenal striker next week? We are going to be diving into that as well. But let's start off with a big story. We are having medicals for Martin Zubimendi. Yesterday, it was confirmed by the BBC that the player arrived at the Arsenal headquarters to complete all the formalities for the new deal. And today, he has done his first part of the Arsenal medicals. He should be doing his second part of the medicals either tomorrow or on Tuesday. The announcement of the player is scheduled to happen next week, with his new shirt number already exclusively told to us by Charles Watts. It's going to be shirt number 36. That is the shirt number Martin Zubimendi is going to be putting on. Now, if you remember, I said he would put on shirt number 18, but that is Tomiyasu's shirt number. Then there is the possibility of him getting the shirt number 5, but that is only after he, if Partey goes. So at the moment, the shirt numbers that have been available to him, shirt number 21, which is the squad number for Fabio Vieira, shirt number 36 as well, and he has decided to go for shirt number 36. It's a shirt number that he has actually put on before at Real Sociedad. You can see it right there. So next week, whether Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, you're going to have a new shirt number 36, and that's going to be Martin Zubimendi. So the announcement is going to be done next week. We also have a couple of exclusive stories that media duties are actually happening. So you're not going to have a lot of time. It's not going to take a lot of time for this story to be announced. Much of the work has been done. Martin Zubimendi never in doubt, according to Fabrizio Romano. He comes in as a new Arsenal DM. Now, Arsenal want to progress onto other deals, and the next deal could be a left winger. Obviously, we want to sign a centre forward. Arsenal working on Gyökeres, and we are also working on Sesko, but we are also working on a left winger as well. Rodrigo at Real Madrid is one of the players that Arsenal are very much interested in, especially now that we're not getting Nico Williams. Rodrigo is going to be a big target for Mikel Arteta and Andrea Bata. Now, Arsenal have signaled to Real Madrid that we shall be able to pay £77 million for the services of Rodrigo, and that is very important in the coming week or in the coming weeks as well, because for us to pay 77 million, that means that Arsenal are going to be signing another player in the region of 90 million euros. 77 million, I think that million pounds, that's about 93 million euros, around there. If Arsenal are willing to part with 77 million pounds for the services of Rodrigo, it means one of two things. One, either Arsenal have a very unsurmountable amount of money to put on transfer this summer, or we are getting a cheaper striker. It could be Victor Gyökeres. And again, there is a story today that points to Victor Gyökeres being on top rather than Benjamin Sesko in the coming week. But Rodrigo for 77 million, there are a few things that I have against him, but this is a very good deal. That is very good money. It's a signing of intent. It's a sign of intent. It's a record signing. And I think if Arsenal sign Rodrigo and Liverpool sign Florian Wirtz and Manchester City sign Ryan Shaki and Tijani Reinders, these three clubs are working at the same pace. You get a centre forward, doesn't matter who it is. You also get a very good centre-back. You get Martin Zubimendi, and you sign Rodrigo. That is a superb window. Very close to what Liverpool have done with Florian Wirtz and Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong. And very close as well to what Manchester City have done in January, bringing in the likes of Nico Gonzalez, and then this summer as well. So I think, for me, that is why I want Rodrigo. And I know it's going to cost premium money. And I know Madrid at times are very tough negotiators. They will milk the situation. But for me, Arsenal have got to go and do this. Now, if you ask me, Is he worth 77 million? Well, in today's market, I would say yes, but I also have a few reservations about him. One, he's one of those players that are really quite talented, but we have never seen him produce 20 goals and 20 assists in a single campaign. I mean, he's not Ribery, he's not Robin, but if you're gonna cost 77 million, guys, think about it. Arsenal signed Alexis Sanchez for about 35 to 40 million pounds, and the record of this guy at Udinese was remarkable. And the impact that Alexis Sanchez did and had at Arsenal was unprecedented. So I look at Rodrigo as a new Mesut Ozil. I look at him as the new Alexis Sanchez. And for 77 million, that's why I feel, well, Arsenal should go and do this deal. But is he worth 77 million? Well, at 24, there is a lot of room for him to improve, but he's going to have to work a little bit harder than the likes of Odegaard, than the likes of Zubimendi, than the likes of Julian Timber. Because these are players that have come in at normal prices. 45 million, 30 million, about 45, around there. But if you're coming in at 77, you're one of the most expensive players Arsenal have ever done, Arsenal have ever signed, right? On top, I think there is Declan Rice, then you have Kai Havertz, Nicola Pepe around there. And I think the third one would be Rodrigo at 77 million, right? But this is a statement of intent. This is to show the Arsenal are meaning business this summer. We want to go and break the market. We want to go and improve this team. And Rodrigo, no questions about that. He improves us. I think Mikel Arteta, the problems that we have and the problems that he has actually faced last summer from injuries, Rodrigo adds a bit of depth across the forward line, can play as a false nine, can play as a right winger, obviously, to back up Saka, can also play as a left winger. That is his favorite position. In terms of breaking down low blocks, that is what he does. He's got a very, great ability, ball to fit. That is how you break down a low block. And in terms of running into space and beating mid blocks, that is your guy. You have Saka running, you have Martinelli running, and you have Rodrigo running, and maybe Benjamin Sesko. No one is ever going to play a mid block against Arsenal. I'm telling you, I'm giving you rest assured facts. If you play a mid block, right, leaving space behind, when Arsenal have Sesko, Rodrigo, and Saka, a team will concede 10 goals next season. I'm telling you, that is fact. A team could concede 10 goals next season if Arsenal have Rodrigo and Sesko or Gyökeres and Saka, and then some team just plays a mid-block, they could concede 10 goals. But the Rodrigo deal is going to take some time. I'm excited. I'm very, very excited about the signing. But I think it's one that is going to take a lot of meetings internally for Madrid and Rodrigo. The family loves Madrid. They waited and waited for Madrid while the player was still in Brazil. They rejected Barcelona. They rejected a couple of top clubs just for them to wait for Madrid. And for them to just walk away, it's not going to be easy, but it's a deal that Arsenal are willing to do. It's a deal that Arsenal are willing to invest a lot of money in. Okay, now Arsenal have offered a 6-year deal to Gerrard. Talks are still ongoing between the management of the player and Arsenal, but this according to Nicolo Shearer. We have offered a 6-year deal to Gerrard. The young centre-back is a very, very big target for Mikel Arteta, who sees him as a left-back option, but also sees him as a centre-back option to cover for Gabriel and William Saliba. It's just 22, and of course, Arsenal have been told to pay 50 million euros. I think negotiations will happen. Negotiations will continue to go on. I think it's a deal Arsenal will do. I'm so confident about it, but it's going to be about 45 million euros. I don't know why, but I just feel like Arsenal and Ajax have got this relationship where when we enter negotiations, it's always going to end up in Arsenal's favor. We will get the player, and eventually it's going to be at the right price. But Arsenal have offered Gerrard a 6-year deal to join us this summer. I think this is indicative of what's coming in the next few weeks. Arsenal are now trying to go for the targets they've actually settled on. So if you look at Gerrard at centre-back, we have other players that we actually wanted. There was, I think, Dean Huijsen, obviously, who went to Madrid, but then Maguire was there. There is, what's his name? Murillo. at Nottingham Forest. All these are players that Arsenal have considered. Of course, there is that left back at Chelsea that we talked about. Is it Gusto or something like that? But now Arsenal are just focusing on the players that we have agreed on internally. And this is the phase where you should be expecting a lot of Arsenal bids, a lot of Arsenal contract offers, and a lot of unveilings in the coming few days. For me, Jorah, if you ask me, I think he's one of the best options that Mikel Arteta could get in the role that he actually wants, right? Because he wants a player that can play at centre-back comfortably, a player that can play at left-back comfortably. I think Jorah is one of the best options you can get. Well, McGahey could do that, but I kind of feel like McGahey is such a centre-back. Turning him into a left-back would turn him into this kind of Josko Kivadio. He can do that, but I don't think he does the left-back role to the level of Jorah. Osman Diamonde is another player that we talked about, but Diamonde is going to Crystal Palace, and I think Crystal Palace are now, willing to sell McGahey. But Diamonde and Jorah, who's more talented? I think Jorah is more talented. Osman Diamonde has more minutes under his belt. They're both young players, very young. I think Diamonde is 23 or 23 actually, and Jorah is 21, 22. But Diamonde has played for a longer period of time at Sporting than Jorah has played for at Ajax. So with Jorah would be getting pure talent, but Diamonde would be getting talent and experience as well. And of course, we shall see him at Crystal Palace next season. Very talented centre-back. If you've not seen him, the 2 times Arsenal played Sporting, he's that guy. He's just 19, I think. He was 19 when we played them for the first time in the Europa League. That guy that was playing alongside Gonzalo Inacio at centre-back. And I think they gave us a lot of problems to the extent that they actually dumped us out of the Europa League. Did they? Yeah. And of course, they conceded 5 when we played them in the UEFA Champions League. But the good news is that Arsenal are now progressing on Jorah. We are forgetting and we are fading out all the other noise in the background. Now, there is a story about Lucien Agome to Arsenal. That talks have begun between Arsenal and Sevilla to sign Lucien Agome. What I'm gonna say is I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. I don't think Arsenal are going to replace Partey just like that. I think even if it's just like 1 more minute left, Mikel Arteta and Roberta, they will fight for Thomas Partey to actually stay. Actually, Fabrizio has been saying that the whole priority for Arsenal in midfield is to announce Martin Zubimendi and also make sure they try to convince Thomas Partey to stay. He wants a bit of bigger wages, maybe a raise. Are we going to give that to him? Maybe, maybe not. But I expect Partey to stay or to go. And then after that decision, it's going to be a little bit of calm. And maybe 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, Arsenal will announce the player they want to go for. Now, Lucien Agome, obviously, he's a great candidate. He's young, not going to ask for a lot of minutes. He can back up Zubimendi. He can be that driving force if you don't have Declan Rice on the pitch. He's a talent. But I don't think Arsenal are trying to replace Partey without even getting a centre-back yet, without doing our due diligence on the goalkeeper situation, on the centre-back situation. I think replacing Partey might come as option number 3 or 4 this summer. And I also don't think that Arsenal are straight away going to go like for like, right? We're going to look into the market and ask ourselves a question: do we really need another traditional DM? Or do we need someone who is a little bit mobile, agile, has got the drive, has got this ability to dribble? And I won't be surprised if Arsenal go for another Declan Rice rather than another Thomas Partey. But Lucien Agome has been, there is a lot of reviews on him. I've looked at him on YouTube. Not bad, but I'm not following the hype. I'm not one of those people that are going, Lucien Agome, I've seen him on YouTube, bring him right now. I'm going to look at his numbers. I'm going to do a deep dive on him and see why would be a good fit for Arsenal or not. Now, the striker situation is also becoming a little bit clearer because Benjamin Sesko is asking for wages that Arsenal are not willing to give him, and is also still asking for a release clause in his contract, and that is causing contract negotiations and transfer talks to actually stall between him and Arsenal. In terms of wages, this is according to Reluctanto, very credible source as well. In terms of wages, I don't think Benjamin Sesko is going to ask for anything that Arsenal can't offer. But in terms of a release clause, I think that is going to be the deal breaker. I said it yesterday and I'm going to say it again. Arsenal are a big club. They don't have to listen to all this crap from the management of the player. We're waiting for a special club with a special project or this and that. He can go to Liverpool if he wants. If he can go to Manchester United if he wants. I don't think Arsenal lose Sesko and I don't sleep. If we lost Gyökeres to another club, 100 goals in 100 games, I'm concerned. But Sesko, if he's going to be the best striker in the next 10 years, let him become whatever he wants. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel as well. In the next video, Fabrizio says that Arsenal want to do 3 big signings this summer, and he has laid out the whole plan after signing Marcus Zubimendi. That is coming up for you on your screens. Make sure you hit the like button and the notification bell as well.